I'm your host, Jordan Kurtz, sitting here alongside Vince from Pichel. We are now going to get into the UFC betting preview segment presented to you by DenverSportsBetting.com. This weekend, we have a clash of old teammates, if you will, or training partners, at least we could say. A marquee matchup of the bantamweight division, a return of a former world champion. We have the matchup of the Sandman, Corey Sandhagen, out of the Elevation Fight Team here in Denver, Colorado, born and raised in Aurora, going against TJ Dillashaw. Vince. Now, you've had some experience, you know TJ a little bit from Cali, right?
Yeah, I actually know TJ a little bit. We're not like friends, but we know each other. He was on the Ultimate Fighter on Favor's team, so we interacted a lot. The guys came to the gym, so yeah, me and TJ know each other pretty well.
So as you see this matchup of him coming off of the 2-year layoff via the USADA vacation, along with then him coming into a white hot, dialed in, laser focused Corey Sandhagen, who
very dangerous man, right?
By outside of this TJ fight maybe being there, should be fighting for a world title next. I mean, I think he's made his case for that.
Yeah, I think he definitely deserves a title shot. He's just been on fire lately, and he's just been finishing people and he's making it look easy. When he did that flying knee to Edgar and just put him down, I was like, holy, I did not expect that, right? That was I had a feeling. I was leaning towards Sandhagen in that fight, but I had no idea it was going to end like that. I thought Frankie is not an easy guy to finish. He is not an easy guy to finish, and you just put him down.
And it was just it was 100% calculated. You saw the way that he walked him in, just with his footwork, switching his hips, going back and forth, just lulled him right in, and then boom. Oh my God! And Frankie, he didn't just put him out, Vince. He was in full rigor. He was sitting like that. That's
knocked him in a Narnia.
As your old boy John McCarthy would say, that was a severe brain injury.
Yeah, He was probably asleep for a good 10 minutes after that. That was pretty crazy. Things like that, as a fighter and also a fight fan a little bit, you kind of I have that bloodthirst, right? So I like seeing that kind of stuff, right? It's exciting, but at the same time, you're like, ooh, that was pretty bad. I hope he's okay,
Oh yeah.
And it's Edgar, so it's you don't really. He's one of those guys that you don't see that happen to. So it was just kind of a disbelief kind of thing, right? It's almost like McGregor now fighting Poirier, and he's human now, right? Poirier proved he's human now, so it's you didn't really expect that kind of thing to happen to someone like that, but here it is.
Well, and I feel like that just goes to validate that Corey Sandhagen has truly arrived.
Yeah, he is laser focused. He did a lot of mental gains recently too. I watched him on the Joe Rogan show. I'm not sure you watched that, but. The way he was talking on there and the things that he's had to overcome and go through and put himself through, so he felt like he wouldn't have another issue when he fought Aljamain Sterling. That determination that he have from that loss is so crucial, right? There's a lot of guys who will lose things like that and then they don't really get back on the bike after that, right? You see it a lot, and not necessarily a tough loss, but even just a loss that they felt like they should have won. I've seen guys lose to people they shouldn't have lost to and just don't come back from it because it's just it's a mental block. He stopped, took himself outside the box, thought about it, knew what he had to do, and he went for it. And now you're seeing that right now, which is pretty crazy.
That's talking about one guy, there in the red corner who is peaking or has shown that he's peaking and is just blossoming into his own on the mental side. But let's look at the blue corner on that with TJ Dillashaw in the mentality aspect of he has to now come back after the scorn of what he was gone for 2 years from.
Yeah.
He has to overcome that mental hurdle too, because that was a mental hurdle that he spoke of in the first place of feeling that he needed to take the substances to take EPO in the first place.
Yeah, and I don't agree with why he felt like he had to do that, but I do agree that he has a lot. He's gonna have to fight an uphill battle right now because of all that stuff that he's done, right? And I think it's just the compounding things with his camp with Team Alpha Male and all the falling out that he had with all those guys, and you know what I mean, because those guys used to be really tight, and so there was a big falling out, and that probably weighed on him a little bit, and then he changed camps. I'm not sure if he's even with Ludwig anymore. I know he was training with him for a while, so I'm not sure if he is still with him or not. If he is, cool, but if not, then it's like, was that another change he had to do? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know the story, but I do feel like he's fighting an uphill battle right now to try to prove himself as one of the top contenders again, because how much of his previous fights are tarnished now because of what he was doing, right? Of his steroid use. And we don't know to the extent of it, right? It could have been the whole time, and he's just really good with it. You don't know, right? Like,
by some of the performances, it's kind of hard not to question it or speculate, with some of those, especially if we're talking like the Henan Bahau fight, where he really kind of rallied late into the fight.
Oh yeah.
With a substance like EPO, with the effect that it has. Sometimes it just, I guess he created a sense of doubt over some of his, what were touted as his best performances.
Yeah, and I think that might have made him a little insecure and probably swung him that way. I could see that. I actually fought on that same card when he fought Henan Barao. I think I fought. When was that? Was that 2014, right? I fought Anthony Njokuani on that same card, and I remember I was doing interviews, and I was the only one that was giving Dillashaw a chance because I was friends with him first of all, so I wanted to root for him, right? I wanted him to win. He was kind of like the underdog, right? And Barao was just a beast at the time. I think he was like 30 fights straight undefeated, just mauling people, right? And when he fought, I think it was Brad Pickett, and he hit Pickett, and Pickett put his hands down, and he jumped on his back like a damn spider monkey. I was like, what the heck? Like, I didn't even know that was physically possible for someone to do, right, from the position he was in. So, and then TJ just like absolutely destroyed him, even the second time too. So now I'm thinking, now in my head, I never thought about that. Yeah, and he's never been the same. Brao's never came back from that. And who knows if it was from that or USADA, but yeah, man, he took a very heavy mental loss in that Barao, and he's really never came back from that. But was Dillashaw on EPO then? Like, who knows? You know what I mean? And like, it's all he said, she says kind of stuff now.
Right.
But
there's no way to really know.
There's definitely a lot of questions, that are coming up now.
It is kind of crazy though that years in advance that Cody Garbrandt was able to call him out for the exact substance.
Well, see, that makes me think that it hasn't been a years in advance. It's been going on the whole time, right?
Right.
And he's just smart about it. And that's why I say that. There's guys that are really smart about it, and that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've never done steroids myself, but I've done a little bit of research, and I do know that there's ways around tests. There's always a way. Like, if there's a law, a criminal's going to find a way.
Either because it's an expensive test.
Oh, really? Oh, I see. I didn't know that.
No, that was something that Dana was also taken aback by. But the panel that is used that picks up EPO is a very expensive test. So typically for some of those more advanced compounds out there, you guys aren't getting tested for everything every single time that you're given blood work or you're given urine samples. You're getting a lot of what you're getting tested off of. In most cases, if you're not someone who is on the radar, you're going up against what your levels were when you entered into the pool in a lot of cases. Yeah. So there could be guys that very well, if you entered into the pool with elevated levels, you have some wiggle room at times. You know what I'm saying? So that's not to get too far because I don't want the golden snitch coming after me here.
Yeah,
but let's.
See, I didn't even know that. You opened my eyes about that because I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, I talked to Jeff Nowitzki about this in somewhat detail back at UFC 241 almost 2 summers ago in California, and we just talked a little bit about some of the stringency of it because he's no longer with USADA. He's a part of the UFC, so he was able to talk a little bit more detail that he might not have been able to share as a part of USADA.
Oh yeah, he's not part of that contract anymore.
Right, so he's not a part of that anymore. But he was just able to give a little bit more insight because that was around in the John Jones time frame of how he was just talking about how things are monitored through testing. So that's where I just kind of got a little bit more insight to some of the process there. But moving along to the odds for this fight here in the main event, we have Corey Sandhagen coming in as the favorite at minus 195 with the comeback on TJ Dillashaw at a plus 165. Vince, who do you have?
I mean, I'm going to go Sandhagen. I don't think Dillashaw is going to be an easy person for Sandhagen to take out, but Sandhagen to me he's just unstoppable right now, right? Like, I've seen guys have that laser focus, and I know what they're capable of, and Sandhagen right now has that laser focus. Dillashaw might have it too right now. He might be super focused right now. He might feel like he's really got to come back from this and have that determination. So we don't know. And honestly, I feel like I won't really know who for sure is going to win until that week of the fight when I see the guys and I see their energy and I see their mannerisms and stuff, because that's a big tale of people. like I'm very big on psyche on people, and I'm very good at reading people. So I'm very like into that and reading people and seeing how they are in fight week and energy and just their mentality, right? And it shows sometimes. If you know what to look for, you could see those kinds of things. You could see confidence. You could see despair. Like you got to know what to look for, you know?
Definitely.
But I'm definitely going Sandhagen. However, Dillashaw is not going to. I don't think he's going to be an easy fight for him. I think he's been training hard, even harder than he's ever been, because he has a lot to prove.
I think that that's a fair assessment there. You know, that it's not going to be an easy night, or at least TJ is going to come out there with the head full of steam, and maybe even just in a proverbial sense. Not to mean that he's going to go out there and you know just be raging bull going forward, but he's going to feel like, just like you said, he has something to prove.
Yeah.
But I just don't. As you mentioned, I don't think that. I think Corey Sandhagen is the unstoppable force right now.
Yeah,
I think that he's on the path to becoming undeniable.
Yeah, brown skin, short legs, and fat ass. Son, that's my type.